Good morning, students. Nice to see you. So, yesterday we started in the previous class the statistics and we discussed up to the mean direct method. Okay? So, right. We are going to know about the mean deviation method and step deviation method. So, what is the purpose of having a deviation method and a step deviation method? See, in the direct method, the major problem what we face is multiplying with major numbers, isn't it? If suppose it is given for you the classes and the frequencies, okay, if the classes are 230 to 240, 240 to 250, 250 to 260 and 260 to 270, so 270 to 280. If the classes are given in this manner, observe carefully, and the frequencies are 157, 223, 354, 417, 333. Now, if I follow the direct method for this question, I feel it takes more time to us, because to find the midpoint here you must add both of them and you will get 235, and similarly 245, 255, 265 and 275. These are the mid values which you consider as x. Now, if you want to do the direct method, you have to take f into x, isn't it? Observe carefully. F into x, is it very simple for you to multiply such bigger numbers? So, it takes a little bit time, and nowadays using a calculator it's very simple, isn't it? Okay, but in the examinations they don't allow you to take the calculator. So, in such a type of questions, wherever you feel problem of doing multiplication, there this deviation method or step deviation method comes into consideration. Okay, Nana? Right, very good. Now, what is the main use, what is the model of a deviation method? As an example what I given, why don't we use the direct method? Because the direct method creates some problem, but it is a perfect method, but the direct method is a perfect method. Okay, right. Now, the second one is deviation method. Deviation method. Okay, do you know what is meant by deviation? Very good, very good. So, changing the path, you want to go directly, okay, but before going directly something has come and you deviated your direction, so this is called as a deviation. Okay, right. But if I take a simple pendulum, you know simple pendulum, what do you call this round ball? Yes, it's called as bob. Okay, bob. This simple pendulum, without any tension, it will stand straight here, and this position is considered as mean position. The standard position where it doesn't move and it is standing there perfectly, this position is called as a mean position. If I take this position and drag to some direction to this position and leave it, do it be in the same position or it moves on? Yet it will move, it will go to this direction, and next it will come to the next direction, and it will come to the next direction, and this is the next direction, and this is the next direction, and after many swings it will settle down to such a position which is called as the mean. And what are all these? These are the observations what we see. We are seeing this pendulum, this observation 1, observation 2, observation 3, observation 4, observation 5 and observation 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the observations what I have seen. You understand? Right. Now, among these observations, I think any one value to be as mean, but it is not the mean. The actual mean is here, but I assume the mean here. So this method is also called as assumed mean method. Do you understand, Nana? Okay, very good, Nana. So, deviation method. So, why do we name this one as deviation? Means we are deviating the mean, where the mean is at the middle, but I am deviating the mean to any one of these values. I am not taking this answer, okay. Instead of calculating the answer, I am deviating. I suppose this value as assumed mean. Assumed mean, that I am assuming that this value is the mean, and this is considered to be as A. Okay, do you understand? Right. Now what is the table? They give you as classes and the frequencies. You need to find out the mid values every time. Every time you need to find the mid values. After the mid values, what happened? You find the deviation. Deviation. Can you tell me how much deviation is between x1 and x2? How do you find the deviation between x1 and x2? Yeah, you subtract these two, isn't it? How much deviation is from this x3 and x2? You will difference, you will subtract. So that means deviation means x minus a. xi is nothing but mid value. xi minus a gives you the deviations. That means from the mid value x1 I subtract a and I get a value d1. Okay, x1 minus a, x2 is considered as a, isn't it? So a minus a becomes 0. Now x3 minus a, it becomes d3, this is d2. x4 minus a becomes d4, and so on. Do you understand? Now you got the deviations. You want to find f into d. That is a product of the frequency and the deviations. So you find out here f1 d1, f2 d2, f3 d3, so on. Now what is the sum of all these products? Yeah, very good, very good. Sigma fd. Sum of all the product of frequencies and the deviations, and I get sum of all the frequencies f1, f2, f3, so on. So this is sigma f. Now this sigma fd is divided by sigma f. Observe carefully, I am going to ask a doubt. Sigma fd by sigma f, what do you call this one? What do you call this one? I remember you, sigma fx by sigma f, what do you call this one? Very good, arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean, but arithmetic mean of what? As you have here x, this is nothing but arithmetic mean of the observations. X is considered as the observations. Okay, so mean of the observations x bar, this is most important to us. Sigma fd, that means you are having or you are finding the deviations there. So here is a mean for the observations, but here mean for the deviations. Excellent, very good. So this sigma fd by sigma f gives you d bar, not x bar. Not x bar, you will get d bar there. This is the mean deviation. Mean deviation, understood everybody? Mean deviation. Right now, what about this mean deviation? Observe carefully. Now I know the formula for d. What is the formula for d? xi minus a, that is the formula for the deviation. So I take d bar is equal to sigma fi into xi minus a by sigma fi. Now I am going to transfer this one inside. Observe very carefully how I write here. D bar is equal to sigma fi xi minus sigma fi into a by sigma fi. Can you tell me why didn't I put here bracket and why did I put bracket here? Here I didn't put any bracket, separation of fi and xi, but here separating a. Why did I put so? Very good, Nana, very good. Here I have I in both of them. That means as f1 it becomes x1, as it is f2 it becomes x2, f3 x3, this will be changed. That means the product will be changing. But here as maybe f1, f2, f3 and so on values, but a remains constant. You understand? Right, very good. Now I want to transpose or divide the sigma f for both of them. So d bar is equal to sigma fi xi by sigma fi minus sigma fi into a by sigma fi. You can observe cancelling sigma fi and sigma fi. Now I transpose this a there, this is minus a on transposing becomes a plus d bar is equal to, what is this? Can you tell me? What is this? Sigma fi xi by sigma fi, sigma fx by sigma f, nothing but x bar. X bar. So we got the formula for x bar. So x bar is equal to a plus d bar. So what is d bar here? Sigma fd by sigma f, sigma fd by sigma f. So this is the formula to find the arithmetic mean in deviation method. Do you understand? So this is the derivation. This is the derivation. Completely I have shown you the derivation. In the examination it's not necessary to do the derivation, but you must know how do you get the formula. How do you get the formula? You have to understand that one. Is it clear, everybody? X bar is equal to a plus sigma fd by sigma f. And now you wear the table, okay? You will find fd and sum of sigma fd, and you find sigma f, and you know the a value, and that a value is substituted here to find the x bar, to find the arithmetic mean. Okay guys, clear? Today we learned about the derivation. In tomorrow class we are going to know about how do we apply this deviation in the problems. Okay, bye.